Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Crunch Time here on Roto Grinders as we lead you up to the afternoon MLB lock. A slightly earlier start this week than the past Sundays this season. They're kicking off a new Roku Sunday first pitch schedule, and so some Sundays are going to start a little bit earlier now, so about 30 minutes earlier than what we've had in previous weeks. That's because we have one solo game that starts at 1:05 today. So we'll break it down for you, get through everything here before roster lock. Of course, we'll get to your questions. And to help do that, you've got myself, Justin Van Zuden, STL Cardinals 84. Got TJ Zwarich with the dual producing hosting role as usual on Sunday. TJ, how you doing?
Doing very well. I was telling you guys pre-show, had a little bit of a tough night with the baby last night. She is wanting to eat all the time, so we weren't getting much sleep. Then last night she was doing lots of crying, would only stop crying when I started singing to her. And so voice feeling almost a little bit hoarse from all the, I did, was just singing different songs that I could think of that I knew the lyrics to for literally like an hour straight last night. I felt like I gave my own little concert, but I like this slate today. I have a off-the-wall strategy. I am going tournament builds to the max today. Looking forward to diving into it.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to get into that here shortly. We've got Taylor Smith alongside as well, doing the double duty again today with the NBA content still rolling along. A couple NBA Game 7s today. I know Taylor did the Core Plays article for that, so check that out if you are a premium subscriber over at Roto Grinders. Super helpful when you've got all these sports rolling at once. 2 Game 7s and hoops today. We've got a major championship in golf winding down the final round today. And, of course, this slate of baseball. So plenty of stuff on the sports calendar on this Sunday. Taylor, hope you got some sleep. And how you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Final multi-game, single-day NBA slate of the season. So hopefully we can go out with a bang. I think that starts at like 3:30 Eastern. So got a bit of time between when you build your MLB lineups and your NBA lineups.
I haven't played MLB or NBA in a few weeks here, but today might be the day to dive in. I don't know. Now, sell me, Taylor. How have the Core Plays articles been going in these short slate stuffs? Should I be firing in a cash game lineup?
It's helpful when the Knicks are on the slate because they play all their guys
48 minutes for all the starters today.
Yeah, definitely in Game 7. That's within the realm of possibility. We saw Anunoby's probably playing too, so even with a hamstring strain, I assume he will play a light 45
Only 44
today.
minutes for him.
Yeah, he'll be on a limit of 44. Yeah, it's worth a try. You know, one more multi-game slate until the fall, so might as well hop in.
Give it a whirl. Should be fun. Couple good games as well, and of course, we'll keep you updated on that as NBA leads up to lock. But that's not for about 3 hours yet, as Taylor mentioned. So we're going to take you through MLB here first. And, of course, if you have questions, happy to help you along the way, either in the YouTube chat or we will certainly prioritize questions in the Roto Grinders Discord. You do not have to be a premium member to get in there. rotogrinders.com/Discord. You just need to be a Roto Grinders member. So we are in the live stream chat channel for live questions on air in the Discord. And TJ, what do we got for Spidey Bomb status today? Lay that out for the people.
So I dropped in chat. We'll be doing the first one at 40 likes. We'll be doing the second one at 50 likes. And we already got a lot more viewers than we did at the start of the show. So that should be easy to hit. We're already three songs. Sorry, I saw somebody send. What songs did you sing last night, TJ? It was a wide variety, from some pop 2000s music to some country to some sang The Lion Sleeps Tonight for a while. That popped into my head. A little bit of rap, a little bit of country. It was quite literally whatever popped into my head that I knew the lyrics to. Just over and over and over again. But we'll get the first one right away here. We'll get the second one at 50 likes, and then we got a third Spidey Bump for the people ready at 100 likes.
Our oldest, for his eighth grade spring choir concert, they did a Disney medley the other night. So I've had Moana on the brain for about 3 days now, ever since that ended. So
so there's some we don't talk about Bruno in there for a while.
Yeah, oh yeah, they ran the whole gamut on the acquire medleys, Lion King, Aladdin, all that good stuff. But all right, enough of the shenanigans. Let's get to the baseball. As TJ mentioned, it is a fun slate today. 11 games, interesting stuff to talk about on both the hitting and the pitching side. TJ is going to try to sell you on some wild used car salesman stuff for pitching. So I'm going to start with Taylor on the pitching so we can get the sensible takes first. TJ's crazy ones. But Taylor, what do we got for arms today?
Yeah, so I'm finding myself with a pretty condensed pool. The high end looks good. Corbin Burns, I think, is going to be the kind of chalky SP1. He's cheaper than Aaron Nola on DK, which is helpful by a couple $100. The matchup against Seattle is just like they strike out an insane amount. I think their collective strikeout rate this season against righties, the lineup today is 30.5%. Burns hasn't been a huge strikeout guy this season, but we've seen it in the past. He's reasonably priced. I think he's going to be your SP1 in cash games and probably in tournaments. Beyond that, Nola against the Nationals looks fine, but Washington's not a very high strikeout lineup. They're not a very high power lineup either, so it's not a bad spot, and there are a bit more Ks in there than usual with Gallo in the lineup. But I'm not getting to him a ton. I'm kind of saving a bit with SP2. There are a few in the 8K range, Kirby, Bybee, and Rodon. Rodon against the White Sox, he's been better lately. Still not what he was a couple of years ago in terms of the strikeout stuff, but maybe he's kind of rounding back into form. The strikeouts might be there today with the White Sox on the other side. So I think he's a strong play, especially on DK at 8.4 as an SP2. He's going to be pretty popular, I would think, but I think it's okay chalk. Bybee against the Twins looks okay. Minnesota kind of skidding a little bit of late. Not a very high strikeout lineup, not a very high strikeout pitcher, but he's probably better than he's shown for most of the season. I'm getting to him a decent amount. And then Kirby against Baltimore, kind of a scary lineup, but there is no Rutschman. There are some strikeouts in here with guys like Kowser, Mullins, and Mateo. So I don't think he's a bad option either at 8.8. I think TJ is going to try to sell you on some cheaper stuff. So let's just throw it to him right off the bat, I guess.
All right, the sales pitch for the cheap used car is here. TJ, what do you got here?
So first things first, I promised the people Spidey Bombs, so we got Spidey Bombs for the people. The first one, I want to say first up, we're 3 shows in a row with the Spidey Bombs hitting. The Spidey Bombs are back. The last 2 have been Dylan Moore and Taylor Ward. And guess what? Today, we are going back to the well with our guy, Taylor Ward. He's knocking another one out of the park today. You can find him for plus 500 on DraftKings. Taylor Ward is Spidey Bomb number 1. And then Spidey Bomb number 2 today. We love ourselves some Yankees. They're going to be the top stack on the board. It's Anthony Rizzo. You can get him for plus 625 on some sites, plus 550 on DraftKings. So Spidey Bomb number 1 is Taylor Ward. Spidey Bomb number 2 is Anthony Rizzo. Get us up over 100 likes. And I got Spidey Bomb number 3 for you. Now, basically what I'm doing today, it's not just that I'm going to try and sell you on some cheapies. Basically what I'm doing as well is, now if I were playing cash, if I were playing single entry, Corbin Burns by far my SP1, not even close. If I was playing one guy on FanDuel, still Corbin Burns probably the priority over there. But I'm playing 150 lineups today. It's not super high dollar stuff, so I feel very risk tolerant. Like I don't mind if I just, you know what, if this goes totally wrong, that's whatever. We'll move on to tomorrow. I X'd out Rodon, I X'd out Burns, I X'd out Nola, I X'd out Bybee. And so I am only playing pitchers that sub 15% or lower ownership. I also want to load up on the Yankees expensive bats. I want to load up on the Royals expensive bats and plenty of other one-offs that I like on this slate. And so my 2 highest owned bats on this slate, brace yourselves. There's 2 highest owned pitchers on this slate. Brace yourselves. They're Alek Manoah and Jose Siriano. We just got Adolis Garcia, scratch for the Rangers today. I'm going cheap. And Manoah and Soriano are my two highest owned pitchers today. Manoah, I want to be I'm also stacking against them in fairly large quantities. Manoah, I wrote this up in the expert survey. He's my favorite point per dollar SP2 if he reaches his ceiling, because he's priced way too low if he's pitching like Alek Manoah of old. But if he's pitching like the Alek Manoah we've seen, not last start, but the majority of the last 2 years, then he's the worst pitcher on the slate. And so I want to make sure I'm stacking against him too. So they're my two highest owned. I'm stacking against both of them as well. But like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitchers in my pool. No more than 31%, no less than 15% of any of them. Soriano, Manoah, Pivetta, Keller, Taillon, Kirby, Paddock, Arrighetti, Minaya. Guys that I think have ceilings. They definitely have floors, but all guys that I think have ceilings, and the only one coming in more than 10% projected own is Sean Minaya.
All right, it's a lot of cheap stuff today. I will say I don't mind the Soriano call. I'm a big fan of his in general. Wrote that in the article as well. Obviously, his biggest issue is command. If he doesn't have the command, it can be a long day, but I do like the stuff. And a little bit of a downgrade with that Texas lineup. As you guys mentioned, no Garcia in there today as he got scratched. So I don't hate that path if you are trying to load up on the Yankees. You know, it is obviously we live in salary cap world. You're not getting like Nola, Burns, and a 5-man Yankee stack. It's just not feasible with the salary cap to do that. So, Taylor, any other comments at pitcher for you?
I'm getting a little Lorenzen on DK just because he's cheap and facing the Angels at home. I don't think he's a terrible kind of roll of the dice, but yeah, otherwise nothing more to add on pitching today.
Should I be throwing him into my pool of terrible players?
Pool of nothingness? Go for it.
As well, I guess. Fits right in.
All right, let's see. And I have tagged on DraftKings today. I tagged Bybee and Burns. That would probably be my cash game combo. I do think Rodon makes a lot of sense on DraftKings as well, given the price. He's the second most expensive pitcher on FanDuel, so don't really like him over there, but I think the guys have pretty much covered the options. Lots of different ways you can go today. Again, we mentioned this is an interesting slate, so certainly a few different paths you can take with your pitcher selections. All right, let's talk stacks here, and then we'll dig into position by position. Again, of course, we'll get to your questions towards the end of the show. TJ, who you like for stacks today?
So the Yankees and the Royals are 1A and 1B, probably Yankees 1, Royals 2 for me, and it's not particularly close. I have 20% of each of those teams as full stacks in my lineups, and then from there is where I'm looking to differentiate a little bit. And so I have, like I said, 20% each, New York and Kansas City. My next highest owned stack is Houston, but like I have so many teams basically in like the 5 to 9% of my lineups range in terms of stacks. So Houston, Philly, the Mets, the Rangers, the Rays, the Red Sox, the Athletics, the Brewers, and then my next tier is like the Blue Jays, the Angels, Baltimore, White Sox. I'm playing some Seattle against Corbin Burns even, and so it's Yankees and Royals, and then just like a massive group of tier 2 and a massive group of tier 3.
All right, Taylor, what do you like for stacks today?
Yeah, it's hard to go away from that. It's hot in Kansas City, and the wind's kind of blowing out to the left a little bit. The Royals are facing Sears, a homer-prone lefty to begin with. Fly ball guy, park downgrade, leaving Oakland for him. The Yankees against Flexen. I think you wrote in your article that Flexen has like no skills whatsoever, which I thought was funny and appropriate. So
it was a nice way to make it. It saved me a few minutes of breaking it down even further.
There's no need for a Flexen deep dive. That's for sure. The righty power in particular is going to stand out against him. He's had a reverse split for a while. The team I'm again getting to. It seems like every day I get to this team, but They're kind of sneaky okay in terms of power, and it's Oakland. They're in the same hot weather game as Kansas City. They're facing the better pitcher in Singer, but weather-wise and salary-wise, they kind of make stuff work today, so I am getting to them a bit. Another team I'm reluctantly looking at is the Blue Jays at home against Aaron Savali. Good park. In theory, it's a good offense. We haven't really seen it in years, but I guess I'm going back to the well with them a little bit just because they're going to be a little bit contrarian. And Chicago, the Cubs against Mitch Keller, I think look pretty decent, even in a kind of pitcher-friendly weather game at Wrigley. It's just a good lineup, and Keller has not been an ace by any means over the years, so I don't mind the Cubs as a lower owned stack today.
Yeah, when Keller first came up, he was, going to be the next big thing. And then every year it seemed like spring training, his stuff's looking good. And, he's turned into a solid major league pitcher. Nothing against Mitch Keller, but hasn't really ever fulfilled that dominant ace role. Did have a very strong start against the Brewers his last time out. But again, so many different ways you can go today. I think most people will agree the Yankees are going to project as the best team. And from there, you can kind of make a number of different teams work as secondary options. Or if you're fading the Yankees, I think both the Brewers and Houston have some intrigue too. So just a really interesting slate here on this Sunday. And we're starting to see offense pick up just a bit. The weather's getting a little bit warmer, and we're starting to see a few more runs in some of these games. So, or maybe that's just my bias from watching the Cardinals, who have actually figured out how to hit a little bit lately. So it's been a little more fun to follow them. All right, let's go ahead and break it down position by position here. TJ, I'll throw it to you and give you the generous honor of starting with catcher today.
Yeah, so we have Freddie Fermin projecting as the highest owned catcher today. It's understandable. He's batting fifth in the Royals offense, but it's unfortunate because we actually can't. There's no Vinny P in the lineup, and we still can't play Salvador Perez at first base today, which is unfortunate because they've given him that first base eligibility for the most part of the season, but not today. And so Fermin and Perez are my top two options. I like Jose Trevino as part of my Yankee stack since I'm doing so many Yankee stacks. Langoliers is my next top option, and I like Connor Wong as well. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Langelier. Chez Langelier is my fourth highest owned guy. I got 11% of him, and then Connor Wong at 10%. Everybody else is just only in stacks.
All right. I saw that coming from a mile away when Taylor said who. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not the most glamorous position today. Like the highest, like I struggle with wanting to pay $6K for William Contreras on DraftKings, and he's been fantastic, no doubt about it. But $6K, a little bit of a sticker shock if you're wanting to pay all the way up for William Contreras and even Perez at 5,400 is tough. I would imagine most people will look to go a little bit cheaper here, and thus the projection on Fermin given the matchup and spot in the order. And Connor Wong is hitting about 350 for the Red Sox, and he's kind of been a fixture in the middle of their order lately. So I think most people will decide, at least on DK, obviously, to go cheap. Taylor, what do you like at catcher today?
Yeah, there's not really anything else unless you're just playing the catcher in your stack. Caratini in a Houston stack is affordable, and lefties against Ray are a thing. Pedro Pajes, if you want to fully punt, is in the Cardinals lineup, hitting 8th for 2,100 on DK. Otherwise, one of the Royals or Langelier or Wong. That's kind of who I'm building around today.
All right, it's enough on catcher. Taylor, I'll keep it with you. Let's move on to first base.
I didn't mention the Phillies as a good stack. They're facing Trevor Williams, who's been weirdly awesome so far, but we've seen enough of him over the years to think that there's reason to believe he can regress. So Bryce Harper at first base is the guy I'm getting to the most. He's pricey, but great spot. Williams against lefties over the years has been pretty mediocre. Goldschmidt against Pivetta is okay, kind of as a cheaper flyer, probably more in a Cardinal stack than anything else. Vlad Jr., unfortunately, I'm looking at again today. Pete Alonso. I don't mind in a Mets stack. The Mets are kind of sneaky against Sixto Sanchez, I think, today, even in a pitcher-friendly park. And on the other side of that game, I don't hate the Marlins as a value stack. Josh Bell against Manaea for 3.8 on DraftKings, hitting third. They also have Emmanuel Rivera in the lineup. If you want to save a little more for only 2,300, he's hitting fifth. And then Tyler Soderstrom, I mentioned the A's as a stack that I like. He's hitting fifth. First base catcher eligible, but I think you're playing him first if you're stacking Oakland because Longley is occupying your catcher spot.
TJ, what do you like at first today?
First base. Sorry, I'm just switching over a tab here. I have to adjust the stack. Anthony Rizzo, of course, Spidey Bomb #1, my top owned option today. I love Bryce Harper and Pete Alonso, as Taylor mentioned, and then Jake Bowers is another guy I like for tournaments as well. Outside of those guys, it's mostly just in stacks. I am getting to some cheap Aranda as a one-off, but Singleton, a little bit of Rivera as a full-out punt, Soderstrom, Carpenter. Those guys are all fine. I like Vlad fine, Nathaniel Lowe fine, but Rizzo, Harper, Alonso, Bowers are definitely my four favorites.
Yeah, leadoff Matt Carpenter got the speed at the top of the order there for the Cardinals today. He's been doing okay, and I don't mind him at that DK salary for sure at 3K. You can play him at first or third if you want to. Always like Alonso. He's always one of my favorite one-offs for his home run power, even if you're not stacking the Mets today. So agree on those couple of guys, as well as, of course, some of the other ones that they mentioned. All right, so let's go ahead and move it over to second base. TJ, what do you got there today?
Not that strong of a position at second base today, and so for the most part, I'm just stacking. But there are a couple of guys I don't mind getting as one-offs, and so Bryson Stott, Joey Ortiz, Davis Schneider are the three guys that I'm playing most often here, with Gleyber Torres and Michael Massey getting into my stacks. And then same thing, Aranda you can use as a cheap punt here. Jose Altuve I'm getting to a decent amount of, and then just stack guys: Bryce Turang, Abraham Toro, Zach Geloff.
Taylor, what do you like at second?
Yeah, Vaughn Grissom is an okay value, kind of buried in the Red Sox order, but Liberatore starting for the Cardinals, not the most amazing starter there. I like the Stott call. I like Altuve, Schneider, Marcus Semien if you want to play against Soriano. Obviously, he's going to be one of the better plays at the position. Jeff McNeil in a Met stack, Abraham Toro. I like leading off for Oakland. And Miles Mastrobuoni maybe as a one-off against Keller or in a Cub stack. Not a bad punt.
All right, let's see. I'm going to flipping through some of the options here as you guys were talking. So Joey Ortiz, who I believe TJ mentioned for the Brewers, has had a couple of really strong games over the past few days, hitting it really well over the past week. I believe they got him in the Corbin Burns deal. Really like him as a mid-range play today, so he's one of my favorites. I like the Brewers as a stack. I think, Contreras won't be mega popular because he's so expensive. People aren't going to want to pay $6K for a catcher, as I mentioned earlier. Yelich is expensive. Even Bowers and Turang aren't cheap. Everybody who's spending that kind of money on their bats is going to be playing the Yankees today. So don't sleep on the Brewers against Arrighetti, who has not been good. So before we move along to the third base spot, just want to pass along a little bit of a reminder. Don't forget, there's never been a better time to sign up for Roto Grinders Premium. Again, we've got NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, PGA in full swing here over the summer, MMA, MLB, and we've got an option for whatever level you are looking for. You can get yourself a 6-month combo subscription at an exclusive price of $469.99. That is a savings of $250 over buying 6 individual months of Combo Premium. You can get your first month off, $40 off for a limited time. And then if you want a test run before you go all out with the Combo Premium, you can get a 3-day pass for just $19.99. So you can check the link in the description for more info on that. All right, Taylor, I will stay with you, and we can move it on over to third base. What do we got there today?
Yeah, this isn't the position it used to be, but still some decent options. I think Maikel Garcia is probably the chalk leading off for the Royals against Sears. No qualms with that whatsoever. Abraham Toro, I mentioned at second. You can also play him at third on DK, leading off for Oakland on the other side of the game. Otherwise, probably just in your stacks. Devers, lefty to start the game. I don't hate that. Jake Berger was my under-the-radar home run call of the day against Minaya. I think he's a decent option as a one-off or in a stack if you're brave enough to stack Miami. Cody Clemens is in the Phillies lineup, hitting fifth. Platoon advantage against Trevor Williams. I guess he's a decent value. We mentioned Carpenter at first. You can also play him at third. And then Christopher Morel, probably more in a Cub stack, but he looks decent enough.
Yeah, as you mentioned, not the position it once was, but still, some upside at the position. And not a spot where it looks like a lot of people are going to spend. If I look at our projections right now, like Alec Boehm is hurricane priced on DraftKings at 5,700, Jose Ramirez at 6,100, Devers, who Taylor mentioned, Morel, Paredes, all these guys, all sub 5% in terms of projected ownership today. So this seems to be the spot where people are looking to save. Even, Brett Beatty getting a little bit of ownership as well. TJ, what do you like at third today?
Third, Spidey Bum at 100 likes, and we are 18 likes away. So keep smashing that like button. Let's get us up there. Get us up over 100. We got some home run calls. Maikel Garcia, my favorite guy here by far. He's going to be in a quarter of my lineups today. After that, Ortiz is my next favorite, but it's really just a bunch of in-stack guys for me. Birdie, Clemens. Actually, no, that's not true because I have Jose Ramirez, Alex Bregman, Rafael Devers, who all three of them I'm okay with playing in a stack or on their own. Emmanuel Rivera, you can play as a almost full-out punt. Matt Carpenter at 3K, but Maikel Garcia is my favorite by far.
Yeah, it looks like Garcia's getting a little bit of love today with that leadoff spot. Probably the highest owned at the position. You got a lot of multi-position eligible guys there too, so people will kind of flip things around between second, third, short with some of those guys. But you get the picture. Not the best position on the board, but at least we've still got plenty of options on the slate today. All right, we have 15 minutes left now until lock. We still got to go through shortstop and we got to go through outfield. But that should leave us with a good 6, 7, 8 minutes for questions. So now is the time if you want to start dropping them in the Roto Grinders Discord. Again, rotogrinders.com/Discord. You don't have to be a premium subscriber. Just a free Roto Grinders membership will get you in there, and you can drop your questions. We will prioritize them in there, and then if we've got some leftover time, we can take some from the YouTube chat as well. And again, make sure you're hitting that like button. All right, let's move to shortstop. TJ, what do you like at short today?
Bobby Witt Jr. is my highest owned bat on the slate. I'm going to be playing him as much as I can. One of the reasons why I like getting to the cheap pitchers today is because I'm playing 30% Bobby Witt and I'm playing 30% Aaron Judge. Volpe is going to be number 2 for me, followed by Jeremy Pena. I really like former Cardinal legend Paul DeJong batting cleanup today for the White Sox up against the Chalky Dome.
What a statement.
Francisco Lindor is totally fine as well, but other than that, it's just guys and stacks for me.
Man, there's so much to break down there. Cardinal legend and hitting cleanup, and for the White Sox, I mean, every preposition there is just there's just so much to unpack. To be fair to DeJong, he's been pretty solid for the White Sox. Relatively
didn't
speaking.
Do anything for the Blue Jays. I couldn't call him a Blue Jays legend.
Believe me, I know the feeling. But I guess he's only hitting 236, but he's shown a little bit of pop, and the White Sox are awful, and that's how you become a cleanup hitter for the White Sox. So, Taylor, what do you got at shortstop today?
Yeah, Witt's the top play, maybe the top play on the slate next to Judge. No qualms with that. Chalk today. Anthony Volpe leading off for the Yankees. Jeremy Pena's kind of bounced back this season, hitting 5th for the Astros. Happy to target Colin Ray, as we've talked about. Willie Adames in a Brewer stack, kind of pricey, but the rest of the stack's not too overpriced outside of Contreras, so you should be able to afford him. I don't think anyone's really playing Texas. Corey Seager is going to stand out as the core play in the Texas stack against Soriano. I mentioned Mastroboni at second. He's okay at shortstop. I'd rather play him at second, though. O'Neal Cruz, maybe against Jamison Tyone. Not the greatest numbers against lefties over the years. I think Cruz as a one-off is pretty interesting in a tournament.
All right. Yeah, this is definitely a position where you got to spend up today, I think. I mean, we've got value at the other positions, and there's just so much as a spend up here. Romy Gonzalez was originally projecting as a chalk value, but since he's sitting seventh, he won't be. And Boston, for all the Cardinals are starting a lefty, but Liberatore's only going to throw about 60 pitches. And their two lefties in the bullpen have each pitched each of the last 2 days. So you're going to see all righties after that. So I worry about guys like Romy Gonzalez, Ref Snyder, Garrett Cooper. Like, if you're playing those guys as value, they could get pinch hit for, after like 2 at-bats. So I think short is a position to spend up for today. And TJ's playing all the garbage can pitchers, so he's certainly got money to spend at shortstop. What do you got?
I already hit short. Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, all right. That's carry on. I got myself sidetracked there. All right, Taylor, I'll stick with you then, and we'll go to outfield.
Yeah, this is obviously the best position as far as bats go. Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, all going to be terrific. The Royals have value hitters in the outfield: Dayron Blanco, Nelson Velasquez. I think Hunter Renfroe's in the lineup. Velasquez doesn't have a single barrel against lefties this season, which is kind of weird, but last season he kind of wrecked them. He's slumping, he's cheap, he's hitting fourth. I think this is about as good of a spot as you can find for him. Otherwise, Schwarber looks good against Williams. The lefties for Houston, Tucker and Alvarez against Ray, are going to be on my radar today. I hate to keep mentioning
radar, nice.
Radar. I hate to keep mentioning the Marlins, but Chaminade is not exactly an ace. So Brian De La Cruz and Jazz Chisholm, I don't mind in the Marlins stack. Oakland is another team I like. JJ Bleday, Brent Rooker, Seth Brown, all in the outfield, all affordable in that good weather game. And Josh Lowe against Manaea. Lefties against Manaea over the years have had a lot of success. And Lowe is probably the best lefty in the Rays lineup. So I don't mind him as a one-off if you're not stacking Tampa Bay.
All right, TJ, what do you got in the outfield?
A lot of Yankees and a lot of Royals. So of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 highest owned bats we have in the outfield, 6 of them are Yankees or Royals. Judge, Stanton, Soto, Velasquez, Renfroe, Dayron Blanco, who I absolutely love today. He's got a little pop. He's got so much speed, and he's batting 7th in that great weather game. Outside of those 2 teams, I really like Kyle Tucker today. Ray Taylor's mentioned Ray's struggles, especially against lefties, so love me some Kyle Tucker. Joe Adell is one of my favorite cheapies, batting 5th today for the Angels. I like Schwarber. I really like Tyler O'Neill. And then, of course, Spidey Bomb, Taylor Ward at the top of my list as well. Luke Raley batting cleanup against Manoah, I think, is fantastic too.
Yeah, lots of weird guys in good lineup spots today, which sometimes we do see on Sundays. Are we caught up on Spidey Bombs? It looks like we are over that 100 like threshold.
Yeah, I dropped it scrolling across the screen, but haven't announced it yet. I am going to give a 4th one if we get to 125 likes, because I feel bad because this is a chalky DFS play. But the home run odds are too good. You can find Michael Garcia for plus 680 today to hit a homer. Spidey Bomb number 3 is Michael Garcia. 125 likes. We got a 4th one for the people. A little bit more sneaky from a DFS standpoint. So let's get those up there too.
All right. Yeah, no need to feel bad about because he's a chalky DFS play. If that's over plus 600, that's still pretty good odds if it hits for a homer. Taylor, before we get to questions, you got anybody you like to shout out for a homer today? If you need some time, I can give you some time. I kind of sprung this on you.
No, I can get to it quickly. I mentioned Berger as someone that's not going to really be on anyone's radar. I wouldn't think against Manaea. Aaron Judge, if you want to go out on a limb, Aaron Judge looks pretty good. Velasquez, I think, is interesting for the reasons we mentioned. Davis Schneider, a Blue Jay, kind of one of the only good Blue Jays, it seems, randomly. And let's say Yordan Alvarez gets off the Schneid today.
Who was the first one again?
The first one was
Burger.
Burger.
All right. Again, get your questions in about 6 or 7 minutes until lock. Discord is pretty quiet, so it's not going to take us long to get caught up here. Beaner asking favorite pitcher for FanDuel GPP. TJ, interested to hear your take on FanDuel here with, you don't maybe necessarily need the cheap guys quite as much. What would you do in a FanDuel GPP today?
So single entry, I do think the top option is Corbin Burns. He's coming in lower owned than Aaron Nola. I think he'll be probably about under 20%. And so he is still my top option. But if you're looking for somebody lower owned, I do like a lot of these guys. Mitch Keller at 8,900, Jameson Taillon at 8,600, both in a Wrigley game with the wind blowing in. Those would probably be my top 2 GPP pivots. But I don't mind Pivetta either. I probably wouldn't go low in like a single entry style to Manoah or Soriano or Argetti or Lorenzen in like single entry, 3 entry max scenarios. But I would keep them in my pool and get overweight to their minuscule ownership if I was playing 150.
All right, Carolina guy asking, who's your favorite stack in a single entry on FanDuel? Taylor, who do you like for your single entry stack today?
It's probably the Royals, just kind of by default. Best weather game on the slate, good matchup against Sears, but ownership will follow. So if you want something lower owned, I would just flip it to Oakland on the other side of that game.
All right, fair enough. Let's see. You got a couple people typing. Get those questions in. I'll take one from the YouTube chat here. Soriano or Manaea? So I think that's an interesting question from Boss Bro. He didn't give the format, but I know TJ likes Soriano today. Taylor, didn't seem like you were too high on Manaea. It seems like Soriano's getting some buzz for GPPs.
Both of them are in my pool, but Soriano's my highest owned and Manaea's my lowest.
Taylor, you like going with Soriano over Manaea there?
I would lean Manaea, but I've mentioned Miami as a stack that I kind of like, so it's not like a conviction play. TJ has a conviction play for Soriano, so I'd side with him today.
Texas has just been bad. Like, I know it's early in the year. I know they're going to get better, but like they haven't been good.
A little bit of a hangover, World Series hangover. It happens.
Now they're missing their best hitter today, or like not overall their best hitter, but the guy who's been their best hitter this year. It's just like you pull up plate IQ and it doesn't look terrible. Like it looks fine. All these guys are okay, but nobody's been that dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. And, rumors of Seager still kind of nursing an injury from the offseason. There's reasons to be concerned about their offense for sure. All right. Jay Sams asks FanDuel tournament, Brewers mini stack, final piece, Yelich or Adames? I'll let you both answer that. What the heck? TJ, you like Yelich or Adames to complete the Brewers stack?
I would go with, hold on just 1 second. Probably do Yelich.
Agree.
All right, I would do Yelich as well. Make that a clean sweep of the board there.
The only time I don't like playing Yelich is when he's facing a good ground ball pitcher. And Argetti is not that.
Blink 182 Rue asking, I'm currently using Rodon and Keller in a large field GPP with a full Royals stack and some one-offs. Taylor didn't seem to like Keller quite as much, suggesting some Cubs bats. Is there a better option around that 9K range instead of Rodon or Keller in a large field GPP? So if you've got a little extra salary, obviously you can get up to Burns or Nola. I would actually prefer saving, a few $100 and going with Bybee, and maybe you can upgrade one of your bats using that extra $800. But not like Keller is horrible, but just the way I would do it today. All right, Taylor, I'll throw this one to you from NBA DFS, a DK cash question. Verdugo and Carpenter or Renfroe and Rizzo?
Renfro Rizzo sounds a little better.
It's got all the veterans in that one. Renfro, Rizzo, Carpenter. It's the old man's team there. But all right, let's see. What is the off the wall?
Sorry, going back to the Mitch Keller thing. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think Kirby is another interesting kind of lower owned guy in the 9K range. I think Keller's overpriced, and I think Kirby might be a little underpriced. I do like the Bybee call too. Just an add on to that real quick.
5 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 4. Let's get these. Get me 5 more likes, and I will drop the 4th one below, streaming at the bottom of the screen right now.
All right, and we're at about a minute and a half until lock. So get that, hit that thumbs up button. I already did, so I can't hit it again unless I unhit it and then hit it. But that's not gonna change the number. Paul Hauser, what is the off the wall stack in GPPs on DK? Taylor has suggested possibly the A's and the Marlins throughout the show as some off the wall ones. TJ, who's your off the wall stack?
I will say that of those two, I think the Marlins are just straight up bad, and I don't want to play them. But I love the A's stack today, and I think that's a phenomenal call.
Especially with the weather. It's hot. The ball tends to fly in KC when it's hot. As
we call that a complisalt.
What's that?
We call that a complisalt. It's where you compliment Taylor and say, Taylor, that was an absolutely amazing call. One of my favorite low-owned stacks as well. And then the insult.
But the other one sucks.
Miami is a terrible decision. But I mean, this is the guy that's playing his 2 highest owned pitchers are Soriano and Manoah today. So take the insult with a massive grain of salt.
Pot meeting kettle to end the show. He insulted himself with the combo, but no, that's part of what makes this slate so fun. There's a number of different ways to go. It's not chalk congregating all in the same spot, and ownership is going to be fairly spread out. I mean, obviously you're going to get some pockets with Burns and Nola, but not to super extremes, and the Yankees bats will be highly owned. But I think it does make for a super interesting Sunday slate. So with that, we are basically at the lock now, and we're at 127 likes. So TJ, if you want to throw the last one out real quick, you can.
Final Spidey Bomb of the day. It's Taylor Ward's teammate, Joe Adell. I like them. I love them as a mini stack for tournaments today. So that brings us to Taylor Ward, Anthony Rizzo, Michael Garcia, Joe Adell.
All right, and with that, we've timed it perfectly. No more questions in the Discord, and we've hit the lock, and it should be a fun Sunday. So would like to, again, remind all of you, check out RG Premium. You can also check out, if you are an RG Premium subscriber, you can check out SimLabs, which is our DFS lineup generation tool from Roto Grinders and Fantasy Labs, which is now available for NBA, PGA, and MLB. With a few clicks, you can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest type you are playing. You get access to SimLabs with your premium subscription. So be sure to check that out. Again, check out the link in the description. And with that, we are done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow to start a new week. Enjoy the baseball. Enjoy the hoops. Enjoy the golf today. Thanks to TJ and to Taylor for joining me. I am Justin, and we're out of here, everybody. Take care.